Hey everyone, in this video, I'm wrapping up my series on booking software and sharing my top choice for both myself and possibly for you. It's been a while since my last video. I'm not a YouTuber and I make zero money from posting these. My primary income comes from running a real estate photography business. So if I'm not consistent with my uploads, that's why. But I feel it's important to contribute as an industry professional with over 10 years of experience, which is why I create these videos at all. Let's dive into the final part of this series on booking software before moving on to other tutorials. About a year ago, Aereo, a very popular scheduling software for real estate photographers, got acquired by Zillow, which also owns ShowingTime Plus. ShowingTime Plus is Zillow's service that offers photography to real estate agents. Naturally, real estate photographers nationwide had a problem with this because Zillow has a history of acquiring software and using its data and client information for its own greedy purposes while simultaneously insisting that they have not, are not, and would never do such a thing. Zillow has done this, however, with multiple software, including but not limited to Follow Up Boss, ShowingTime itself, Trulia, Dotloop, VRX Media, Spruce, and others. All of these acquisitions have been strategic purchases to get resources and information in order for Zillow to control more of the real estate industry. This includes acquiring listings directly themselves and cutting out industry professionals like real estate agents and us. In this case, after the acquisition of Aereo, guess what? It wasn't long before real estate photographers started getting notified by their clients that ShowingTime was contacting them and offering free shoots in order to gain their business. As a customer of Aereo myself, that's when I went on a campaign to interview the leaders of other scheduling software companies in our industry to find out who's the best scheduling software out there and how can we switch to them. After interviewing them all, which you can watch for yourself, I realized quickly that there is no winner. Each software offers special features that are better for different types of businesses. So I'm going to summarize each one of these as quickly as I possibly can and state, in my opinion, what kind of businesses these software are the best fit for, including which software I tried out and ended up switching to myself. I will go through these one by one and categorize these by low, middle, and high cost software, starting with the low cost first. Number one, I interviewed Lance from ViewShoot, who is a real estate photographer and he's in software. So he was able to build ViewShoot himself and do it right on his terms. In short, this software offers all the essentials you need, like online booking and pay to download, for an incredible price of $1 or less per shoot. Lance is a great guy and I get no bad vibes from him. His business model and his personality both scream integrity. I believe Lance and ViewShoot set the standard for a basic software done right, and it's why I am mentioning them first. ViewShoot is ideal for solo photographers who just want to keep it simple. I would say it's not for larger businesses that have complex teams and workflows that need lots of advanced features, which is the only reason I didn't go with ViewShoot myself, but I highly recommend ViewShoot. Next, I interviewed another low-cost software option, Full Frame Systems. Even though Full Frame Systems is low cost at around $2.50 per shoot, these guys offer some key advanced features like a smart scheduler. It also does packages right, which is something that most of the others get wrong, even in the mid to high tier prices. Barry Fish is also a great guy who is completely trustworthy. I actually called him as a final option for my business and began the onboarding process, but then found out it was missing things like thumbnails on the order form. Personally, while it may seem small, that's a deal breaker for me, so I went another direction. But it's still a great software from what I can tell, and is a great fit for a small company of a few photographers or less that needs some advanced features on a budget. Next, we're going to enter into the middle cost software. All of these offer a lot more features and start around $5 per listing, more or less. You will need to check out their websites for more exact info because it's always changing and getting updated. Kicking it off, I will start with Aereo. Aereo came on the scene a few years ago and made a huge impact in the industry and quickly grew to be probably number one, although I have no way to measure that for sure. They were able to do that under the incredible, charismatic leadership of Brannick, and they have an easy-to-use, intuitive software that is fairly modern-looking and offers most everything a more complex real estate photography business needs. And it is why I was a customer of theirs and recommended them for so many years. They got all the important things right, although they didn't have lots of things I really wanted, like packages. Since the acquisition, however, not only can you not trust what they're doing with your information, adding of new features has almost completely stopped, and Brannick seems to be getting phased out, as is procedure when a tech startup gets acquired. Next is HD Photo Hub. HD Photo Hub has been around for years and has lots of features, including everything you might want or not want. They have a large customer base and are a solid choice, even though they are not as sexy and naturally intuitive as Aereo. Even though their software is a little bit stale, nobody can deny that HD Photo Hub has way more features than Aereo. Their pricing structure is interesting with credits, but they also offer cool ways to save money, like offering marketing kits that, if they sell, will cover all your costs for HD Photo Hub. So technically, HD Photo Hub can be free when you consider the money you are making for what you are paying, although that's technically the case for all the software. All in all, HD Photo Hub is a solid choice for a company that appreciates an abundance of features and is willing to put in a small amount of time and effort learning the software and how it works best for their business. Next is another middle-cost software called Spiro. Spiro is a relatively new software on the scene and has all the features of a larger, more advanced business. This software is more comparable to HD Photo Hub than Aereo. It has a great podcast that I like to listen to myself, and their founder, Todd, is a spectacular guy, and I mean that. I really can't say enough about him. He's been a real estate photographer for over 20 years and really understands our day-to-day, and his software has a lot of small, quality of life features that demonstrate that. I was all for Todd and Spiro and was planning on moving over after the acquisition, but I put it off after I found out that he was partnered with someone I am not crazy about, Eli Jones. Eli has a real estate photography course that he sells, which I don't have a problem with. I sell one myself. I just don't like the way Eli does business for several reasons, which I won't get into in this video. As it relates to Spiro, it made me hesitate because it made me second guess Todd's judgment and character as a leader. I did end up, however, going with them temporarily, and I will let you know more about that at the end. Tonimo is the next one up, and it's hard where to put this software on the list in regards to middle cost or high cost because their website is not very transparent and exact info is difficult to find, which I don't like. However, they have plenty of people who do recommend them, so I did a demo with them to check it out. Their software seemed well built and they were able to answer all of my questions, but I still didn't appreciate having to book a demo and their lack of transparency. When I initially announced I was doing interviews, Brendan Zhu reached out and offered to do an interview with me as the director of partnerships at Tonimo. I also have a familiarity with Brendan in the general Facebook groups as he is active there and was associated with Tonimo in my mind as he regularly promotes it. However, after the interview was published publicly, a gentleman by the name of John Zhao commented under the interview, which I will quote from here. "Hey, thanks for featuring Tonimo. I am the founder of Tonimo, and I want to clarify that while Brendan has been instrumental in helping us grow and bring on photography companies, he is not directly involved in Tonimo. He makes a commission on the sales that he brings in, but he is not the director of partnerships at Tonimo. I did not have any knowledge this interview was happening, nor did I give permission for Brendan to speak on behalf on the company's behalf. This was embarrassing for me as an interviewer, of course, but also a sign that Tonomo has an issue with whom it has affiliated itself with. Brendan is a minority investor in Tonomo. Sadly, Brendan has a reputation of being heavily sales-driven to the point of suspicion of dishonesty. I was aware of this reputation, but in the name of being open-minded, I decided to give him an interview, and was immediately punished because he flat out lied about his position and completely invented his own title as Director of Partnerships at Tonomo. That being said, while he is a minority investor, it is not Tonomo's fault he did that. So I did my part and gave a second interview to John Zhao, whom I really like. He's a great face and name for Tonomo, which is why I recently reached back out to them so I could try and switch to them as a final last-ditch effort. However, I couldn't log in, and I didn't have a login. I emailed them and they said, we typically don't have login credentials unless you've been onboarded with us as a client. They did offer to show me the dashboard again with videos or jump on a call, but that's just not the type of experience I'm looking for. I want to try it out myself, which they seem resistant to, so I wished them well and did not go with them. All in all, Tonomo seems to have a pretty well-built software from what I can tell. They have lots of people who recommend them, but I also know there's a hefty incentive program to motivate those recommendations. They have some cool, unique ideas like hooking you up with virtual assistants and all of that. All in all, if you're okay with this sales process and their questionable unknowns, it may be a good option for you. This software could have lots of great things, but it's just hard to tell. If you're the type of business who wants to take the time and energy and figure this out for yourself, it may be a good fit for you, but not for me. I will briefly go over the last two because I didn't have as much experience with these. These are high-cost software. Realtor Revision did a great interview with Jason Levenshore, who is very enthusiastic, and they do a lot of different things inside real estate. When you work with their software, they will help your business by sending you leads from some of their own sources. They've been around since the 90s and seem to be able to do anything, but they do seem to be a bit dated and doing possibly a little too much. I didn't end up going with them myself, as I would prefer a very simple to use software with a few of the essential advanced features. But if you want a Swiss Army knife that can do seemingly anything, and you don't mind if it's a little old looking, Realtor Vision would be a great option to check out. Last on our list is Rela HQ. I do see this recommended, and they by far have the sexiest designs, websites, and social media titles. They approach this whole thing from a design perspective, and I really appreciate how they go above and beyond the rest in regards to looking good. They don't have all the features that some of the others have, but that's done on purpose. They offer a great, good-looking, small but powerful software, but do price themselves towards the top of the market with $3 just for media delivery and $10 for the website. I get no bad vibes from Mike Land, who I interviewed, and haven't heard anything bad about their company. If you aren't cheap, this is definitely something you should consider because they seem to get it right, although I haven't tried them out for myself yet. So finally, who did I go with? For me in my business, what I value most is a solid product that is easy for me and my customers to use at a good price and led by a team I can trust now and in the future. It also has to have the advanced features. My information is important to me. My image rights are important to me. I don't want any funny business. I just want to pay for something that does a great job almost effortlessly. Since last year, I have tried several. HD Photo Hub was originally on the table, but I've been familiar with them for a long time and knew that it would be a slight step down from Aereo. So I initially tried out Spiro. I tried them out for about a month and was very excited, but things did not go well. It was complex to set up, much more complex than HD Photo Hub or Aereo. A lot of the back end was backward and difficult to navigate. This is something that's an issue with all of these softwares, but especially with Spiro. Me and my employees kept running into errors and issues, and it slowed down our speed of business by a whole lot, which is very important to me. We understood it was a new software to us, that we just need to get familiar with it, but even after about a month, we just kept running into more and more issues, including, but not limited to, my customers getting charged twice. This issue specifically lost me 2 large accounts, which cost me and my business $20,000 to $40,000 in revenue this year. Spiro has a pretty extensive learning reference where you can see how to do things in the software, which is helpful, but the problem was I was constantly referencing that to do the simplest tasks. To be fair, Todd is an absolute champion at customer service. He took several phone calls with me directly, but ultimately the learning library, his direct customer service, and the Facebook group just wasn't enough to keep up with all the issues I kept running into. Todd has built a big photography business using the software, but you realize that the software was built for his business. If your business doesn't operate similar to his, it will be a bad fit. So for me, I had to apologize to my client and go back to Aereo as much as I didn't want to. The reason I did this was because after the switch went badly, I didn't want to switch software up on my clients again, because that can be a difficult move and you can lose business if it goes wrong. So I kept it that way over the busy season to avoid another disaster. Also, Showing Time Plus didn't have a photographer that was active in my area, so the conflict of interest wasn't an issue for me over the summer. That being said, that is no longer the case, and Showing Time Plus is now directly competing with me in my area. So to conclude, I currently am still using Aereo and am desperately looking for a quality alternative that has the essential advanced features like smart scheduling, ease of use, and is trustworthy. Maybe Aereo could come out with some sort of assurance that would help me trust them and I would stay, but until then, I am still on the lookout for something better. That's the conclusion of the series, and if I find something else, I will be sure to let you know. I will update you as soon as I possibly can, as I have made the switch and I'm happy about it. For now, sorry for the background noise of this little man. He wants to spend time with me because it's 4 o'clock and I have to go spend time with family. Wish you all the best. I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much.